Hello friends, and welcome back to the Okie Hippie Farm Channel, where I've been making significant progress on my arch cabin construction. You may recall that during the last video, the drywall and painting was completed, which meant we could now begin on the flooring. I decided to install what's known as LVP, or luxury vinyl plank. This stuff is marketed as a snap-together solution for flooring, and once we figured out what we were doing, it actually went very quick. But what you're seeing now is us completing the first few rows of the flooring, and it was difficult until we figured out our process. Luckily, I had also purchased a LVP install kit for about $20 or so, and that included a rubber mallet, spacers, along with a few other tools to assist in the installation, and this definitely came in handy. Also during this task, my uncle makes a cameo appearance all the way from New Mexico. Let's slow this down a bit so you get a true perspective on this task. Here I am measuring an end piece of LVP and cutting it with the chop saw. Unfortunately, the diameter of the blade wasn't big enough to cut the piece all at once, so I had to make two cuts on each LVP that needed cut. And this just about brings us to our hippie word of the day, which is too long, and I define as making another trip to the chop saw.
Yep, I think so.
If you haven't guessed yet, this work was both back-breaking and knee-breaking, but we were making quick progress, which kept us motivated. At this point, we had entered the living room and the end was in sight, although we still had the upstairs loft to complete as well. I actually forgot to take video of the loft flooring installation, so be sure to stay tuned for the behind the scenes photos later. All right guys, so before we close the video today, I wanted to give you a close-up view of how to install LVP. It's not that difficult, but it does take a while to kind of figure it out. And if I would have had this type of video, I think it would have helped us get started. So I've got a couple pieces of LVP here. Move this a little closer, but you can see, it's kind of got a lip here, and the lip is kind of a whitish color. On the backside, LVP has this, it's almost like a foam, and it's supposed to help with soundproofing, so that's good as well. But when you're installing these together, they snap together. And so in this scenario, what I would do is grab this other one and kind of put it right there. And you can see that that's together pretty good. And to a novice, you might think that that this is great and you can just go on, but if you look a little closer right here, you can see that this piece is actually not flush with the other piece. There's a little bit sticking out. And why is that a problem? So let me show you. If I were to install a third piece, which you would have to do, of course, to make that joint stronger. Now let me show you what that looks like. See how there's that white showing still? So that means that this LVP has not been installed properly. And I think what can happen then is if you were to spill water or something, that water can get in there, and that's not good, and not good from a warranty perspective either. So what you want is to make sure that everything's flush, and that's why we had that install kit, because it came with a few tools that really helped us out. So what I've done is I've pulled that back out, and we're gonna get this flush here, hopefully. Okay, that looks good. And now if we kind of lift this up and push down, now when you look at that seam, you don't see the white. And that's what you want. If you see white in here, then you don't have it installed appropriately. And one other thing before I let you go, I've got just a diagram here of the actual layout of my downstairs. And so here's the kitchen, here's the bathroom, the pantry is here, and the living room is here. And when you're installing LVP, the instructions state to start in the far left corner and work your way to the right, and then come back and with the next row and kind of start in the far left corner again. So what we did was we started here in the kitchen and we worked our way this way. And then we came back and installed the next row here and worked our way that way. Everything's fine, but then when you get into a doorway, you want everything to match, right? So you kind of come with a row here. And what we did was we went back here to the far left corner and started again, working our way to the right, and we were saying a lot of prayers, hoping that everything was gonna match once we got here. Now theoretically it should, right? Because this is the same wall, but if you're off just a little bit, that white will show up that I was just showing you. So everything did match up for us, which was great. But later when we got up into the loft, what I realized was, and I actually did this when I got into my closet, which is a different floor plan, but just to give you an example, when I got into my closet, I went through the doorway, and then I started working backwards toward the wall from this area. And it actually worked very well. Now it was a little odd from a mental perspective because you're kind of going backwards and everything's just a little, it seems like it's a little off center compared to what you've been doing. but it does work. So in the event you do this, you can go through a doorway and work backwards toward the wall as opposed to starting over here and coming this way and hoping that everything matches. The excitement was building because with the flooring now complete, I was less than 1 month away from moving in. So be on the lookout for my next video where we run the line from the water well to the cabin. See you hippies soon.